Today, Don Germann, sales representative, Apex Results Realty, located in Burlington, Ontario. I operate from Grimsby through West Mississauga. This video log entry is going to be attached to the coming economic collapse. Now, this week, I'm not doing anything major to talk about what can be done to decrease your overall costs. Next week, I'm going to start giving some suggestions and hints on ways to tighten up our belts, because what's coming, and it is coming, is an economic downturn of some sort. Rates go up. Cyprus, the Eurozone, has an issue with their economy. The US, one of our biggest trading partners, has an issue. China has an issue. Someone has an issue. We have an economic slowdown, jobs, perhaps wages go down. Not a good picture. What do you do? Now, some of us are going to sit there and say, I don't care. It can't happen to me. Okay, absolutely. No one ever gets laid off, never gets fired. Certain people don't generally. Police, fire, teachers generally don't. Most of us are not that though. So, what do you do in the event of an economic downturn? What I'm going to try to suggest is the US had this before 2008. Starbucks coffee every morning, driving off to work in a leased vehicle. Economy gets hit in 2008. A lot of Americans get burned very badly. They stop drinking Starbucks. They stop leasing vehicles. They buy beers. They're going out and doing things to tighten that belt up a lot. Some of them were not able to save themselves. Not all the Americans. Some of the Americans had problems, and they got burned very badly. Now, we never had that in Canada because the banks would not allow subprime, and our economy is strong. We deal with a lot of natural products, resources that get shipped out all over the world. But a lot of people like debt now. And what's happened is after 10 years, actually 17 years roughly, of good economy, almost consistently with no big recession, and people can argue that if they want, but generally we've had 17 good years. The generation coming up behind me, under 30, I don't mean to generalize. Some of them are very good with their cash. Some are exceptional. Some beat out, a lot of people because of things they've seen. I know a lot of people who are buying the iPhone 5 because the iPhone 4 is old. Still works. It's a year and a half old. It's 14 months old, and you are upgrading your phone. Why? Oh, you're re-signing another 2-year contract. You have to have, you're considering getting a 60-inch flat screen, but yet you have a 42-inch at home right now. It's only 2 years old. Next week, I will have some definitely specific things you can do, because if you are anticipating something, a stagnant market, that's all it has to be. But if you've got that huge mortgage and you've leased a vehicle, it can be a problem. Some people will get burned. I don't think many people will. Not a huge percentage of the population will get burned because of their debt problems. Some people always are, no matter what. But I'll give you some suggestions, because things you need to figure out if you suddenly wake up and say, you know what, something could happen. And I'm 28 years old, live with my parents, and I get my paycheck, and it's pretty much gone by the time the next paycheck comes in. So while your disposable income is disposed, I have some suggestions. I'm not an expert. I've listened to experts. I've talked to my wife. I've read some books. I've thought about it. How do you decrease your expenses 10, 15, 20, 30, 50%? How do you increase your income by 10 or 20%? It's an easy formula. You either need to make more money or decrease what you're spending. And if you do both, you come out that much further ahead. I'll be posting next week. Nightmarish economic downturn. I don't think it'll be that bad. On the real estate side, I think prices are going to stop going up, and maybe they'll come down 1 or 2% a year for a few years. And by saying that, it could be 2, could be 3. It'll depend on what the government does. The only way this will get bad for Canada is if one of our major trading partners just shuts down trade with us. It will have an impact. If for some reason interest rates have to go up, not to 4%, not to 4.5%. There are people who will lose their homes, I'm sure, at 5% instead of 2.89 right now. But a lot of people will not. But if you have 9%, and if you have a 10% drop in housing prices over a 6-month period, suddenly because everything looks bleak and glim, you know what's going to happen? Some people will walk away from their property. Some people should not own those properties now as it is. I'm not standing in judgment. I'm just saying this is what will happen. There's a triple of the interest rate definitely affect what they're paying per month. And there are people who cannot afford it because they are not saving because of the bells and whistles and everything else. And money is dirt cheap. Anyway, I'll post next week. Remember, no matter what else is going on, we are still in a good economy. Interest rates are still low. You can dig yourself out now or listen to this for some information and some suggestions, or even have a good laugh. And above all, stay positive.